Today, I'm going to teach you how to install a gyro brake setup onto your BMX bike with the help of someone I'm going to teach in person right now. This one right here. And before we actually get started with that, I want to run through all of the pieces that you're going to need for this. Yours may look a little bit different because there's some variation in different types of cables and methods for that. But for the most part, this is a basic setup. So we have our gyro. We have our gyro plate. We have our lower cables leading to our brakes. Then we have our upper cables leading to a brake lever. Real quick, just wanted to add that if you're watching this video and haven't picked up your components to do your gyro install yet, you can use my code BRANT at danscomp.com and save 10% on literally anything that you want to buy from there. So you can get your entire brake setup or just part of it and save a little bit of money while helping me at the same time. I want to thank Dan's Comp for the support. They support so many different aspects of BMX, from events, from just local jams, all the way up to the biggest events in all of BMX, and riders from every single skill level. They just support every aspect of BMX possible, and it's awesome. And I wanted to shout that out and make sure you guys knew about this in case you needed to pick something up in order to do your gyro install. Let's get back to the video. To make this a little bit more fun, I've had Stephanie look at my bike to try and get a blueprint for how it's supposed to go together. And instead of doing this like the bike build that Victoria and her did, where it was totally blind, I'm going to guide as much as I need to keep this moving smoothly. So let's just ask first, what do you think happens first?
I have to take this guy off the bars.
That's a great first step. So correct. First thing that you want to do, it makes it easier because you have to take off the stem and the bars in order to install the gyro and the gyro plate. So we're going to do that now. We may time lapse through some things to make it a little quicker. And another pro tip, the first thing you actually want to do is the side bolts, because that lets the pressure off to make this come off easier. This is your compression cap, and you do have to loosen that because we're going to have to take some of this apart.
Do you have to unloosen both sides?
Yes.
Okay.
These bolts are what holds your fork into place and keeps your bars in line with it.
I feel like I'm doing this backwards.
Well, you're tightening right now.
Well, yeah. See, that's why I said I think I'm doing it backwards. Oh my goodness, who tightened this?
I probably
The Hulk?
made it tight.
Are you sure about that? I think the Hulk did it.
Jeez, me. What am I doing? For the record, your stem bolts don't need to be that tight.
They weren't falling off, that's for sure.
Yep, that's good enough there. Now loosen the compression cap. It's also a 6. It'll work. Sweet. All right. I'm going to hold the fork. And careful. Make sure you got a good grip on your bars and your fork in this moment, because your fork, if you let go of it, will just slide out like you're seeing there. So what do you need?
I need these two doodads.
Which two doodads?
This doodad.
That doodad.
It goes on first. Oh, I need to take these
Nope.
off. No?
It goes right over top of them.
Oh, nice.
Yep.
Like that?
Yep.
Cool.
And that piece. So that one could be 2 different directions.
I feel like it goes that way.
There's a slight chance that we may get this wrong and have to redo it because spacing is tight with this setup. But if that happens, we will do it off camera. We'll go with that for now.
Oh, cool. Love that.
So
Then
now,
put the handles back on.
let's go. That is correct. Once you get the gyro and the gyro plate on, you can put your stem back onto your fork. Cool. I can let go now.
Sweet, because I could not see crap up there.
You don't have to go crazy aligning everything yet. That can be for the final tighten. Now, what do you think would come next?
So then next would come this brake lever guy.
Let's go. So, correct. You could do the lower, you could do the upper. The upper makes a little bit more sense because we just put the gyro on and you'll be able to connect the cables that way. So you're gonna need these Allens because the lever is a different size than the bolts you've been loosening.
I have to unscrew the whole thing, right?
Yep.
Okay. This way?
Yep. Make sure you do it right because you're riding this bike through Akron today.
So funny. So if you guys don't see me in any more videos, you understand why. Brant didn't check it.
So the lever is going on now. This will all be a matter of personal preference, where you put it and whatnot like that. But most of the time, these things are going on very similarly. That will be a very interesting lever position for sure.
What?
We'll finalize that later.
Oh boy.
I would keep that a little bit loose.
He's telling me I did it wrong.
No, I would just keep it a little bit loose so that it's easier to move it around if you need to. So here's why you have to worry about your lever placement, because with it this high, you're taking away distance from the cables.
So through there?
That will give you the most direct route going through in front of the crossbar.
So next you take off the little doodads and you shove it through there, right?
You're gonna want those, the nut on there still.
What?
What you just took off, you're gonna want that on there.
Why? How do you
Because
put
that
it?
is your adjustment.
How do you put it through this hole?
You tighten it. This is threaded. So a gyro plate is threaded where the barrel adjusters go in, which means you just thread them in, and then the little nut right here is how you can keep it adjusted out, and you tighten it down to that, and that'll be your adjustment.
Like that?
Correct. I don't know what we're gonna actually need yet in terms of adjustment, so you don't have to go crazy with any of that. I'm gonna help out with this side since you're on that side. And there we go.
Huh.
So now what?
The next side?
Careful, careful, careful. So, another tip that if this was a blind bike build challenge thing here, it would have gotten totally ruined because the springs would have went all over the place. When you're putting brakes on, you need to pay attention to your springs. Make sure they're on the side that they came on when you get your new brakes. And if you just got brakes from somebody else and the springs are mixed up, I have a video on how to tell which side is which.
Love that for me.
You just got to be careful so that the springs and stuff don't fall out of each side. So if I were you, I would be taking the loose side that isn't connected to anything.
This dude?
Yep. And I would be putting that one on first. Another thing you'll notice is that there is a lower brake that is very clearly underneath the one on the top. That will be the one you want to put on first, because if you put this one on first that goes on top, there is no way to put this side on next.
So is that the right side?
That would be the other side. It is upside down right now. Careful when you flip it.
Damn it! This is not going well.
It's going great. This goes here.
I knew that.
So you're gonna put your brake arm onto your brake mount. And then I'll hold this if you wanna figure out what you need. You could honestly hold these parts up and then pull the bolt out to figure out what size it is, or start it. Look at that. Let's go. And the spring stuff you can line up later. You just don't want to tighten it too tight before that. Real quick note here that I want to make sure everybody understands with brake arms is that there is a slot right there. It may be in a different location for yours, but there's a slot for the spring to go into. You put that into there and then make sure it stays there, because that is how you achieve spring tension. Then your cap also has a slot and that goes over that side. And that is how you adjust your spring tension and get it set up.
Now it's this guy?
Yeah, and that one you want to be extra careful.
Oh, goodness.
And the reason for that is because the straddle cable needs to be on that side, and you'll be crossing things up if you don't install it that way. How do you feel like you're doing so far?
I'm doing all right.
It's been 14 minutes and we're probably 75% done.
Haha, nice. Not taking an hour.
And at this point, the reason why you're not tightening everything all the way down is because unless you have a brake where you don't have springs to adjust, you're going to have to set your spring tension, which is another thing that's totally up to personal preference and something I have many videos about explaining in depth. You're learning the pain in the butt that this side is because of the chain.
Yeah.
Now what?
This goes in here.
So yes, you're correct. You're going to want to put your barrel adjuster into your cable guide.
This thing?
This piece actually ends up in here. And there's a slot in that cable guide that allows you to put this cable inner through it to make it easier. Yeah, this is all going to move a little bit. There you go.
Like that?
Yep. And then now installing the lower cables into the gyro tabs. This is kind of a step that I went forward on to not make her do it, but you're going to need to install your gyro tabs at this point if you haven't already. The gyro tabs go onto a frame. Usually they only have one little machine screw that holds them on, and this is what allows you to screw the barrel adjusters in onto the bottom side. And if your frame doesn't have these put in at this point, it's pretty self-explanatory. Just make sure that this is the way that it looks. The threaded part is on the top, the bolt is on the bottom. Now putting the barrel adjusters in, I'm gonna do this side just to help keep this moving. It can be a little bit of a pain because the cable tension from it pulling on it. So this one, you don't have to screw it all the way in. We will get the final adjustments later. Yeah, sometimes these barrel adjusters under the tension of the cable being 90 like that just makes them harder to tighten. What do you think?
It's something with this guy.
We're going to hook up our gyro, making sure that the lip lord is forward.
Okay. How do you do that?
It's very simple. These cable ends anchor themselves into slots. Like you just got the bottom one done there. You got...
This one doesn't have enough room for that.
So another tip is if like you're in a position like this one where the cable doesn't have enough room, you can just push on your cable. This is why we aren't setting up spring tension yet, because we're going to need to slot our cables into the gyro with no spring tension. There we go. Now the top ones
go into this.
Very simple as well. Yep. There's a chance you may need to mess with adjustment on your upper cables in this, depending upon your setup, so that you can give yourself the most room possible. You may have to thread your barrel adjusters in further, also to give yourself the most room possible. Just helping along here. There we go. Okay, gyro is installed. Cables are installed there. Now, what's the next step? Well, it would probably be impossible for her to know this. So,
tighten everything down.
Almost. The next step, if you have a straddle cable set up here, there are several different ways that these can look. Some of them have two ends on them. Some brakes, like this one, have a fixed end on them. Most of the time, you're not going to have a fixed end on there, and you're going to have two ends, so you're just going to slot it in the best you can and use your cable hanger. This one, though, pretty straightforward.
This goes here?
Yep. Okay, straddle cable is installed, and at this point, you're going to... You know why nothing happened right there when you pulled that brake? Because we don't have the spring tension set up yet. There's no spring tension to pull it back.
Oh, so I have to tighten these.
Yes. Now this is where you're going to need that crescent wrench.
This?
Yes, and the small set of Allen wrenches. And the important thing here, I'm going to say from the start, is that this is why you have to pay attention to the direction that the spring is wound. Make sure they're on the correct sides, because these springs are directional. And as you can see with this one here, it is rotating like this, meaning that when we tighten it right here, the spring is tightening and it's pulling the brake pad away from the rim in that process. Where if we were going the other way, it'd be pushing it towards the rim. And if you have the spring tightening it like this with the wrong one on the wrong side, it means you're going to unwind it like this in order to tighten it, and that's just wrong. So all of that being said, you're gonna wanna use this crescent wrench on this cap and turn it that way to tighten the spring. And what's funny about all of this is that we actually are going to unhook the brakes that we just hooked up, because we're getting everything set up here, but now we need to unhook it so that we have all of the travel possible in order to give us the most travel or the most effective spring tension. Now, yeah, right, you're gonna have to hold it. So the struggle is helping me explain this better too. What I do in this process is I get the bolt almost tight so that it is just able to move, so that I can hold that crescent wrench and hold the spring tension where I need it, and tighten the bolt just that last little bit to fix it in place.
So over here. And then...
Yeah, so this is way too much spring tension. There you go. But it's going to take you a minute to finish tightening that, I think.
30 years later.
It just takes a while on this side because of the chain. Yeah, right there is good. And once again, spring tension is totally up to preference and what you find that you like. And I have other videos about it. So your goal is to keep it in place while you tighten it. Let me see if this is... Yeah, that's pretty good. Okay, other side. And this is where you also want to pay attention, because if you do it exactly the way you did it on the other side, rotating the exact same way, you'll be going backwards. You have to pay attention to the direction that the spring is coiling and the direction that is pulling the pad away from the rim to give you that spring tension. On this instance, the spring coils this way, so we go the same direction to tighten it. Yep, and then now you can see when I pull on this, we have spring tension.
Am I going the right way?
Yep. Okay, let's see how it goes. Pretty good. And you really won't know once you get to this step, like what it's gonna feel like at the brake lever until you get all the way wrapped up and then you actually pull the brakes. And luckily this stuff's all adjustable very easily once it's all done. You notice it gets a little more difficult now because there is tension, but right there it goes. So that's tight. The lever is going to be a matter of personal preference and where you put it at. And
this guy and these guys.
Yes. Start with the compression cap. This is what gives you your headset being tight. And if this is tightened last, then you will probably have a loose headset and have to start over. So tighten the compression cap, then tighten the side bolts. Keeps it all in place, making sure that the stem and your front tire and forks and all that stuff is aligned. As you can see, we have brakes. They definitely need adjusted. If you look at the gyro, you can see there's looseness there where the cable isn't seated all the way in where it's supposed to go. So that would be where we would adjust the barrel adjusters out until it starts to tighten up some of that slack. And then from there, you can see it's tightened up that slack. We pull the brakes and it works much better there. And so that is what's left to do. Go through and just refine things, adjust the spring tension accordingly, get the cable ties set up. And for the most part, that's pretty simple and self-explanatory. If you have any questions, leave them in the comments down below. Let her know how she did, and we'll see you next time for another video. Goodbye.